Hey, sisters. Before we dive into this podcast, I have 3 things for you that I want to make sure you know about. You know, sometimes we want to evolve how we're feeling in our body. We want to, know that we're making progress. We take this time to listen to podcasts, but like, now what next? Because sometimes, as wonderful it is to start to listen to podcasts, it's just that beginning piece, right? That kind of gives us some tips, but we almost need that consistency of something else to keep us going and get us over the hump until we get results. So I wanted to share with you 3 things. The first is a free training that I'm offering next week. And again, all the links for these will be in the show notes. Just swipe up and register or apply, whatever is going to work for you. I have a free Perfect Perimenopause training next week. It will be live. I will send you the recording. If you can't make it, you just need to register. And what I'm really going to cover in there are some of the key issues that you're missing, that your body is whispering to you, and how to start paying attention and addressing those things to get results. Because ultimately, that's what this podcast is about, right? The fact that we ignore the whispers of our body and we need to start to pay attention to them, understand what they're saying to us, decode them, and, actually follow through on that stuff. So it's for any of you guys, whether you're just starting out, whether you're just learning about it, whether you're just feeling frustrated, or you just need a place to start because you're overwhelmed in life. And this is a great free training option. Plus, there'll be some Q&A time live with me. So swipe up and register for that. The 2 other things I want to offer you is that starting in January, I am going to be hosting for the first time ever a couples movement and nutrition challenge. And I think what inspired me to do the couples is because I know with my partner that we get way better results when we're connected in it together. We know that you can actually, 150% time your results if you're doing it with someone and with having that support. So if you're not in hormonal chaos, but you're just stuck and you need that kind of mental accountability and you want to make sure that the movement and nutrition you're following is in line with your hormone rhythm and not doing more damage in this area, feel free to connect with your partner, your spouse, even just a friend. It's ideal that you have a couple to hold you accountable. And you can just swipe up and click the link for that to learn more there. And of course, DM me if you have questions. And finally, for those of you in extreme hormonal chaos or who are crazy busy and know that working with a coach is what elevates you always to the next level, for me, working one-on-one with a coach is a constant investment of mine. It's what keeps my body where it is. It's what keeps, that's my Siri. It's what keeps my energy where it is. It's what elevates me to that next level at all times, body, mind, and soul. So if you're someone who has no time to waste and you're sick of Googling for all the answers and you're really ready for a strategy and mental shift around your body, I want you to know that I've opened up spots for my 2-month private coaching program where we heal the hormones and elevate you to that next level. But there are only going to be 6 to 8 spots open for that. And by the time that you even listen to this, some of those may have been filled. So I encourage you to just apply. I don't take everyone. We will have a discovery call to see where you're at, to make sure that this is a good fit for you. But to complete the application. And let's dive into this episode because I got some sass for you today.
What's up, sisters? Welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. I'm Bria. I'm your host. If you're new, I'm so happy you are here. I'm your perimenopause and menopause sister, your holistic trainer, hormone specialist, translator of your female body. I'm a recovering people pleaser and hustle addict turned body whisperer and hormone decoder. And I am here to help you de-stress your body, decode what it is saying, become the CEO of it, and own your own health, energy, and weight loss again. This show is for you, the overwhelmed, overworked, underappreciated step woman who dreams of a body they feel strong, energetic, and sane in. The woman who knows that she shouldn't just wave the white aging flag and believes in a body and life of peace, love, and purpose. But you don't just know how to get there yet. So if you are stuck in your body, your energy, your life, you are in the right spot. Let's lean in and learn what our bodies are saying to us.
Hey, my beautiful sister girlfriends. How are you feeling in your bodies today? At the time of this recording, of course, it is, the thick of holiday season, which can be such an overwhelming time, right? For all of us. As much as I love the lights and I love the Christmas spirit. I really miss being around a lot of family. As much as I love this time of the year, my sister and I always talk about the fact that it's like we have the same amount of time and the same amount of money, and yet we need to do so many more things and spend so much more money. And I realize that's obviously not what the holidays are about, but that's just that is the reality of what it feels like for many people. And that can wreak serious havoc on our hormones, on how we're feeling in our body, because we know, whether you've been listening to this podcast for, a little while, whether this is the first time or whether you've been following me on Instagram or whether you've even been one of my clients, we know that like 98% of the issues with how we're feeling so badly in our bodies right now, the chaos that hormonal chaos creates, right? The suffering we're going through, it comes down to lifestyle, right? Lifestyle choices, which, don't throw tomatoes at me. It's a harsh truth. I know we all want a quick pill. We all want a quick solution. Trust me, I've bought all the powders. I've tried all the pills in my life. I've bought into all this stuff and wasted a lot of money and a lot of time trying stuff. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to these lifestyle decisions. And there's two things, right? I can tell you right here, and you can learn through my programs, like dive into the program. If you want a specific step-by-step formula, I have those available for you. You don't need to Google and piecemeal it together. Hop on my live training tomorrow. That's free. Register, swipe up in the comments here and register for it. Join me for, my couples challenge, whatever it is. I can give you the strategy to reduce the stress in your body, right? But if you aren't able to sleep because you're not dealing with stuff in your day, or you're not setting boundaries, and it's leaking out at night, this is what happens. I have a lot of you guys that come to me. I'm already getting sassy here, aren't I? Sorry. Last episode was sassy. This one you're getting sassy, Bria. It's just the way I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling raw and real in my luteal and menstrual phase. So this is what we're getting. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. But, we're feeling so frustrated, of course, in our bodies. But if we are not dealing with the emotions that are happening in the day, if we're stuffing them, hiding them, numbing them, and look, we all think numbing and we're like, oh, drinking and maybe food, like emotional eaters. Those are very real. But I will tell you that one of the biggest addictions we have as women these days is overproductivity. We are addicted to overproductivity, and we use productivity to numb the things we don't want to feel or don't want to pay attention to or don't want to admit to ourselves, right? Again, this is how I got to 39 and not realize I was gay and miserable, right? In a hetero marriage. It's because I was hiding a lot of stuff from myself, okay? If you really want to heal yourself, you gotta start to pay attention to bigger things. So one, you have to start setting boundaries and paying attention to what's happening in your body and stop hiding and stuffing things. This is the work that we have to do. Second, we need to recognize what is causing us to do those things, right? It's not enough. And you know this because you and I both have been like, every Monday, I'm going to follow this workout program. I'm going to eat this way. No sugar, no dairy, no gluten, no alcohol. We all have been there. And then, by 6 p.m. on Monday, or certainly by Friday, we're face first in a whole pile of Ben and Jerry's, right? Right. I know you know what I'm talking about. The problem is not that we don't know what to do. It's that there are things that get in the way of us doing it that we're not dealing with. And this is the rub, you guys. This is the mindset work, because one, we have to pay attention to what's happening and give ourselves permission to do these things. We also have to have the right perspective around how hard it really is. But we have to do the mindset work to feel our worth again. When you step in to a mindset that you are an empowered human that deserves to feel incredible in your body, when you start to make that shift and do that work and step into that, making those other decisions becomes easy. We are suffering when we're trying to hold on to these lack of self-worth feelings or these emotions we're not dealing with, or this lifestyle of hustle addiction that we're not willing to change. And we try to make these other changes. That's where we suffer, right? Because we're exhausted and we're trying to change, and change takes energy and effort, right? And we're looking for comfort in some desperate way. So we reach for alcohol, we reach for, the things, the foods, the companionship that comforts us. Maybe it's shopping, right? Sometimes people shop a lot to comfort themselves, they can be seemingly benign things. And I feel like this is the art form that we as women in this generation of perimenopausal women, so those of us in the 35 to 55 age box, have become extremely skilled at socially acceptable ways to numb, to stuff, to pretend everything is okay, and to comfort ourselves so that we don't have to do the work and change the hard parts of our lives. I know this is harsh stuff, you guys, but this is the work that has been, that I have done. And, when people come to me all the time and they're like, okay, when will the weight release? I'm like, the weight will release when you stop bullshitting yourself. And that's just a tough truth of all of this, right? When we stop lying to ourselves about what we really want and how we really feel and why we're really frustrated, and start doing the work to make the choices to make it better. And the hard part in making choices to make it better is that means we have to stop choosing other things, right? These are the difficult pieces. But what I wanted to talk about today, and this all kind of parlays into this, is how critical it is not to sacrifice the needs of your body for the comforts of other people. I'm going to say that again. Don't sacrifice the needs of your body for the comforts of other people. People talk about this in the business world all the time, in the online coaching space. There's this whole, there's this very real, be bold, be strong, step into your empowerment. And I think it's incredible. But how can we change lives of other people, or how can we change the world around us if we are not able to change ourselves? And why we're not able to change ourselves is that we are falling prey to this difficult people-pleasing mentality as women of being the nice girl, where we're like, oh, it's okay, and I have to just make it okay for everyone because this is my family and all the compromise. You don't need to compromise on your sleep, on your personal time, on your nutrition, on your mental health. You don't need to compromise on those things. But it's normal, and this happens to me too, or this used to happen to me all the time, and it's very normal, whether you're out with a girlfriend or whether you're hanging out with your spouse or your partner, and they want to have a treat, and they're like, oh, come on, just sit on the couch with me, and, they're eating it in front of you, and whether they entice you or whether you're just like, you know what, I deserve this, I want this, and so you sacrifice what you want for yourself because you don't want to say no to someone else, or you don't want to make someone else uncomfortable by saying no to them, whether that's at a work holiday party or whether that's at the girls' night out or wherever. And likewise with time for yourself, often, I have a few things to say here. They're all conflicting. Often we, I hear women be like, I could say well, I don't have time to do all of these things. I'm like, 15 minutes of conscious breathing a day will reduce your hormone imbalance by 47%. And that is because breath massively impacts our stress body connection and your stress hormones are what is causing you so much distress and suffering. If we are in chaotic stress, you simply, it doesn't matter what you do, sister, you cannot lose weight because your body is, and this is the simplest, I know there's a lot more complex scientific ways of explaining this, but this is the simplest way I can explain it to you. Your body is in hormonal imbalance naturally because we're in perimenopause, right? This is just the phase, the reverse puberty phase that we are in. And so because the body is always working towards balance until we move right into menopause and we're not producing the progesterone and estrogen that we were, and so that balance becomes less important. We're battling this balance, and the body is always working at staying in homeostasis, right? Which is that beautiful balance that it's in. So it's grinding away, working extra hard in that background, much like if you've ever been pregnant, like your body's working to building a human, your body is now working to, restabilize itself, and you're tired. You're extra tired from all of these things. So it is harder for us to be in a state where our body can shift into fat burning mode. It is not impossible though. And when you support yourself with an anti-inflammatory way of living, if you dive into my P4 formula or you grab my hormone hacks, there's some really simple things in there to help you with that. But my point here is that we so often sacrifice what we really want for ourselves on a whim, right? Because in that moment, it's easier to say yes to someone else's wants than to get really clear and set the boundary on our needs. This is the work, right? And because 70% of us women are people pleasers and identify with sacrificing our needs to avoid conflict, I know that this is going to resonate. Sometimes we tell ourselves, I want this glass of wine, or I want, I need this. I should just sit and spend this time on the couch watching TV with my husband instead of, going to bed early, or, I should get up with the kids because, I just always do. And I need to be the one to get up with my kids and not my partner, we tell ourselves these stories and we think that these are what is, are our legitimate excuses, right? But they literally are just that. They are excuses and self-sabotage that is keeping us where it is. The needs of your body is for you to be sleeping well, resting well, eating in a way that isn't ticking your body off further, moving in a gentle way, and finding some pleasure. For the love of goodness, get an orgasm, have some fun, go out and dance, do something that brings you joy. But orgasms are free when you're alone. Don't forget that. I am feeling sassy today. Find pleasure in your life. All of these things, right? These pillars of health, your movement, your rest, your nutrition, your pleasure, these are key pillars of your life. And when we focus on them, your hormones will rebalance, your weight will release, your energy will come back. But we cannot focus on them if there's so much emotional baggage getting in the way, if we're not setting proper boundaries, if we don't have that right mindset. It is time for you to step into being the woman that you are and take control of your body by looking inwards, not trying to control it from the outside in, but by going in and saying hey, body, what are you trying to tell me here? What do you need? And when we sacrifice those needs to make other people comfortable, we're getting in further misalignment. How do we begin to get in touch with these needs? Well, certainly listening to this podcast is one of those ways to bring these whispers, bring these red flags that the body, shows us to the surface for you. But a daily movement, listening to this podcast, or, reaching out and applying for one of my one-on-one coaching programs and really committing to yourself. My clients know that part of the
Thank you so much for joining me.
That they get results is because of the accountability and the mindset work from week to week to week. Because we will show up for other people before we show up for ourselves. So apply for one of those spots, or listen, just join me tomorrow. Swipe up and register for my free training tomorrow so that you can start to evolve this aspect of yourself, because we all know that most of it is just is just about commonplace conversation. The more we talk about this, the more it's presence of mind, the easier it is for us to make the decisions that are right for us instead of sacrificing that element of ourselves for other people. All right, sisters, thank you so much for showing up today. Happy Thursday. If you're listening to this on the Thursday that it drops, reach out if you have any questions. You can hit up the website. You can, DM me specifically and let me know if there's topics you want to talk about. Don't hesitate to reach out to me directly, but I hope I see you on the live training tomorrow so I can share more, or grab one of my one-on-one coaching spots, and let's dive into you.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Period Whisperer podcast. I want to encourage you to reach out to me directly and message me if there are topics or things you're struggling with so we can address those right where you are at. And of course, if you loved this episode, if you learned something, make sure to share it with your friends, and please rate and review it wherever you get your podcasts.